Hello everyone, welcome to Lukmaan IAS. Today we are going to have the Hindu newspaper analysis dated 17th of November 2023. In today's newspaper analysis, we are going to look into some mapping topics, and apart from this, we are going to discuss some important articles from the newspaper. And we are going to discuss these articles in detail so that they can help you in your preparation for UPSC Civil Services exam. So without wasting time, let us quickly see the list of articles that we are going to cover today. So these are the list of articles that we will be covering, and as part of mapping topic, we are going to cover Gulf of Guinea. Okay, we are going to understand about Gulf of Guinea as a mapping topic, right? So these are the list of articles that we are going to discuss today. So with this, let us now quickly see the mapping topic first. Name of the topic is Gulf of Guinea. All right, so this Gulf of Guinea, where is it located? What is the feature of a gulf? We are going to discuss about it. So when we discuss about a gulf is a water body, and this water body is surrounded by, let's say, land on three sides and by water like in the other side. Gulf is generally larger than a bay, but it is lesser than a sea in size. Okay, so Gulf is larger than a bay and lesser than a sea. So when we talk about Gulf of Guinea, it is located to the western side of Africa. Okay, it is located to the western side of Africa. So let us say this is the map of Africa, as we can all see, right? This is the map of Africa, right? So over here, this is the map of Africa. So to the west of Africa, over here we have Gulf of Guinea. This is Gulf of Guinea. So this Gulf of Guinea is just to the north of this particular line, which is equatorial line. Okay, this is equator. So equator is a line that, let's say, passes through 0° latitude. So if we draw the map of the world, let's say this is the globe. If we divide this globe into two equal halves, right? If we divide it into two equal halves, so this line that divides the earth into two equal halves, this line is known as equator, right? It is known as equator. And this Gulf of Guinea is very near to equator, or we can say, since it is a water body, so equator passes through it, right? Equator passes through Gulf of Guinea. So this is located to the west of Africa, and over here there are many countries that we can locate, but these countries are so much near to one another. That's why I have included another map for you. Okay, so this is another map, and this map is going to help us to understand which countries are, let's say, sharing maritime border with the Gulf of Guinea. So what are those countries? One of the country that we can say over here, this is Republic of Congo. This is Republic of Congo. This is Gabon. Okay, Gabon is a country. Then we do have Cameroon as a country. Then we have Niger Delta, and this is Nigeria. Then over here, this is Benin. Benin is the name of a country in Africa. Apart from this, we have a very small country which is Togo. Over here, Togo. Then we have Ghana. Then we have Côte d'Ivoire. Okay, this is Côte d'Ivoire. And apart from this, this is Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, and this is Guinea-Bissau, and Gambia, Senegal. So these are the countries over here. It's not needed that we remember name of each of these countries, right, that share maritime border with Gulf of Guinea. But what is important is to have a broad understanding where is this Gulf located. This Gulf is located to the west of Africa, and equator passes through it. We can say this particular thing. And apart from this, Gulf of Guinea is in news today. We are going to discuss about that news article in detail as well. So apart from this mapping topic, we do have another topic for mapping, and we are going to discuss about that topic through a question. Okay, so I will discuss about this question first, then we are going to look into the mapping topic. So now over here, this says, this is, let's say, question number 1 for our understanding, because we are taking it first. It says, with reference to the geography of Myanmar, with reference to the geography of Myanmar, consider the following statements. They have given 3 statements to us, 1, 2, 3. We need to identify how many of the above statements are correct. For this, let us read these statements. And for your understanding, you should be knowing that Myanmar is a country which is adjacent to India, right? So if I draw the map of northeastern portion of India, right? If I draw the map of northeastern portion of India, this is northeastern portion of India. This Myanmar, right? Myanmar as a country lies, right, to the eastern side of India, like that. Okay, so over here we can say that over here Myanmar lies. So Myanmar is to the eastern portion of India. It shares its borders with India. Not only it shares its borders with India, it also shares borders with other countries. Okay, so this is the overall map of, I would say, this is just a rough sketch so that you understand where is Myanmar located. Myanmar shares borders with 5 countries. We are going to discuss that thing in detail, but before that, let us quickly discuss this question. It says the Lushai Hills are a mountain ranges in the Mizoram and Manipur, India, right? Lushai Hills are a mountain range in Mizoram and Manipur in India. Second statement, it shares land borders with 3 countries. What? They are asking about Myanmar. They are saying that Myanmar shares its land borders with 3 countries, because we need to focus on the initial part of the question. We will not connect it with the Lushai Hills. That's important. Third, in the India-Myanmar border has a free movement regime. These are the 3 statements. Now to understand this, we need to understand that Lushai Hills are also known as Mizo Hills. Okay, they are also known as Mizo Hills. So the state in India which is known as Mizoram, right, over here, this is, let's say, this is here we have Mizoram. So this is where we have Mizo Hills, or these are also known as Lushai Hills. Okay, they are known as Mizo Hills or Lushai Hills. So it extends in the entire state of Mizoram. To understand this question, let us quickly go through the maps, right? Let us go through the maps of these regions. In this particular map over here, this is the map of northeastern India. We are not locating the Myanmar as a country as of now. We will look into it at a later point. Let us see where is Lushai Hills. This is Lushai Hills. Okay, so this is the map of the northeastern India that I had drawn earlier. So over here, this is Lushai Hills. Lushai Hills lies where Mizoram lies. Okay, Mizoram is a state. Over here we have Lushai Hills. These hills are also known as Mizo Hills. Over here we can see, right, we have another map. So in this map they have mentioned Lushai Hills. Over here they have mentioned Mizo Hills. Both are right? Mizo Hills means the name of the state came from this hills itself, but earlier it was also known as Lushai Hills. In this map, other hills are also located. For example, Abor Hills, Mishimi Hills, or we can say Kachar as a state. Then over here Garo Hills, Khasi Hills. So these hills are located. In your free time you can give an let's say some attention to these hills also. So having understood about these hills, Lushai Hills and Mizo Hills, now let us quickly see the map of Myanmar.
Sir, the tribal communities such as Garo, Khasi,
Jaintia,
they are residing in these hilly districts.
They are residing in hilly districts, right? Tribal people are residing in hilly districts. So this is the map of Mizoram over here, right? See the more colorful area that you can see in this map. It is of Mizoram. It is of Myanmar, right? It is known as Myanmar. Myanmar is a country. It was earlier historically known as Burma also. Earlier it was known as Burma, but now it is known as Myanmar. Why we are discussing about Myanmar? Because today there was an article in editorial section about Myanmar. And also Myanmar is in news because let's say in 2021 they have conducted a military coup where they have, let's say, ousted the democratically elected leader.
Ansari Suji.
Yes, Aung San Suu Kyi means she was ousted, and a army general has taken, let's say, assumed power over here. But since then they are trying to suppress the rebellions that are happening. But so on that regard, there was an article today. So this is the location of Myanmar. So if we see, Myanmar shares border with which countries? On the western side, there is India. It shares border with India. Over here, we have Bangladesh also. It shares border with Bangladesh. Over here, we can see. These are two countries. Apart from this, it does share a substantial border with China. Then we have Laos also over here. It shares border with Laos. The white color is Laos. Then it also shares border with Thailand. So it does share border with 5 countries, not 3 countries. Right there in the question they have given 3 countries, but it shares border with 5 countries. Apart from this, it does have some maritime border also in the Andaman Sea or Indian Ocean region. That's the thing. Okay, so it shares border with 5 countries. Lushai Hills are also known as Mizo Hills, right? So the first statement is correct. It says Lushai Hills are a mountain range in Mizoram and Manipur. Okay, so some of its portion are in Manipur also. So that's why it is correct. Second is incorrect because it does not share border with only 3 countries. It shares border with 5 countries. Thailand, Laos, China, India and Bangladesh. And then third statement, Indo-Myanmar border is an open border. I mean, so people from India can go to Myanmar, people from Myanmar can come to India. So we have created a kind of, let's say, border where we allow free movement of people. That's the thing. But since Myanmar is undergoing through some troubled time, so now, I mean, we have started doing a check so that insurgencies do not happen in the northeast India, right? So with this, let us now discuss about the first topic of the day, right? So this is UNSC seeks humanitarian pauses corridors in Gaza. So this particular article has relevance with the ongoing war, the war that is happening between Hamas and Israel. Right? Hamas has initially conducted an attack this year, and in retaliation Israel has been conducting attack. It has now entered into Gaza Strip as well. Not only it entered into Gaza Strip, it has killed more than 11,000 people. Most of the people are civilians there in Gaza Strip, and 40% of them are children. So the thing is, many countries across the world have raised their voice. They want that Israel should go for a ceasefire. Ceasefire means they should put down their weapons, right? They should not further wage any war, because so far they have killed thousands, means more than 11,000 people have been killed, and this is more than what initial attack by Hamas killed Israelis. This is the thing. So in this article they discuss about that United Nations Security Council, it seeks humanitarian pauses and corridors. Why corridors? What do we mean by humanitarian pauses? Means the Israeli Defense Forces should stop, let's say, using weapons for certain time frame in a day. Earlier it was, let's say, decided by Israel that they are going to have humanitarian pauses for 4 hours in a day, right? So this is the thing. I mean, humanitarian pauses means they will stop, let's say, using their weapons for 4 hours in a day, so that people can send humanitarian relief to Gaza Strip, so that those people who are wounded, those people who are in hospital, those people who are in need of essential supplies, including food, water and other things, they should be, let's say, they can be easily provided by those countries or the United Nations organization in general, right? So that these people get humanitarian support. And also corridors means allowing the borders, let's say opening the borders for some time, so that these humanitarian aid or food material, medical supplies and other things can enter into the Gaza Strip easily. Okay. Now this article talks about a body. This body is United Nations Security Council. So when we talk about United Nations Security Council, this is a body. It has 15 members. right? This body has 15 members. Out of these 15 members, there are 5 permanent members, right? There are 5 what? Permanent members. And apart from these 5 permanent members, they also have 10 non-permanent members, right? They have 10 non-permanent members. What is the difference between permanent members and non-permanent members? When we talk about permanent members, right? When we talk about the permanent members, these permanent members have 2 benefits. One thing is these members are permanent in the United Nations Security Council since this organization was created. So like their seat is, let's say, like not time bound, means like after every 2 years the non-permanent members cease to exist, means like new people are let's say elected over here. But in case of permanent members, they do have their, let's say, I would say this timeless, right? They have timeless presence. Timeless presence means they are there since the beginning of the UNSC, and these members also have veto power. Veto power means if any important resolution is being discussed or if it is passed through the United Nations Security Council, so these 5 permanent members does have the authority to stop any such bills to be passed from the UNSC. Stop in the sense, even if just one member is against it, that bill or that thing, that resolution will not be passed through UNSC. So this is a point of contention also, because it has been alleged that this veto power has been misused by the United Nations Security Council members, and it has been misused by China many a times, it has been misused by Russia, it has been misused by USA also many a times, right? So this is the this is about permanent members. If we talk about non-permanent members, these non-permanent members hold their seats for a time period of 2 years, and these members are taken from the UNGA, United Nations General Assembly. So in the United Nations General Assembly, there are 194 members, right? So out of these members, let's say like these people are elected for a 2-year term. After then they keep on rotating. They do not have veto power. They do have vote making power. They do have a power to, let's say, vote. But the thing is, to pass any resolution, they need 9 votes in support, right? They need 9 votes in support. At least 9 votes should be there in support. And if we talk about this article, right, in this article they have said UNSC seeks humanitarian pause. So over here 12 members have voted in favor of it. Out of 15 members, 12 members have voted in favor. Only 3 members did not vote in favor, but like they did not oppose also. These 3 members are, let's say, for example, Russia, United Kingdom and United States. These are the countries, let's say, like who have not abstained. I think like they did not use their veto power, but they have voted against it. But effective vote needed is 9 votes. Okay, so that's why this resolution got passed. And United Nations United Nations Security Council, why it is an important body? Because despite being a very small body, it has been entrusted with a power which is unparalleled as compared to the United Nations General Assembly also. This United Nations Security Council, it has the mandate of not allowing any world war to happen. It has a mandate of maintaining the world peace. And for that thing, it does have 3 authorities. One of those authorities is known as, let's say, allowing sanctions, right? Sanctions of the nature of economic sanctions can be used against a member, against any country, or diplomatic sanctions can be used like that. Diplomatic sanctions. Apart from this, the United Nations Security Council can authorize the use of weapons, right? Means like they can send peacekeeping missions. Okay, they can send peacekeeping missions to those areas that are disturbed. The peacekeeping mission is to let's say, maintain that like peace prevails over that region, okay, so that those extremist group cannot, let's say, like, should not overpower the region. Third thing is it can authorize the use of force. What it can do, it can authorize the use of force also. Use of force means if in case a country is involved in certain kind of, let's say, activities which has the potential of disturbing the world peace, which has a potential of disturbing the peace in a region, in that particular case the United Nations Security Council can authorize the use of force also by the United Nations, let's say, member countries over there, okay, like that. So they can authorize the force. So that's why this organization assumes utmost importance now. This organization has been created after the Second World War. The Second World War was fought from 1939 to 1945. And after then they have created the United Nations General Assembly, they have created the United Nations system. So UNGA is there, then United Nations Security Council is there. This United Nations Security Council is considered to be a very small body and very powerful body, okay. That's why India seeks a permanent membership in the UNSC. Many countries are seeking reform of the United Nations system, and by reform most of them mean that there should be a reform in the United Nations Security Council system itself, okay. So this is the thing. So we have discussed about this article, and let me quickly, let's say, draw the map of Gaza Strip. Like if you wish to understand this particular situation, right, this is just a rough map. So this is the location of Gaza Strip, and this is the location of Israel, and over here we have West Bank. Israel is surrounded by some countries. Over here we have Egypt, over here we have Syria, on the top we have Lebanon, then we have Syria, and there is another country also over here, Jordan, I think, right? So here, like, we have these countries that surround. One of the countries is Egypt, then we have Lebanon, we have Syria, and we have Jordan. So this is the rough map of Israel, right? So this particular area which is not encircled in yellow color, this includes Israel. And Hamas group that is there, Hamas group is located in Gaza Strip. And the casualties that is happening, the people who are being killed, they are being killed in this particular region, in Gaza Strip. And this United Nations Security Council is seeking humanitarian pauses in this region, okay? Although member countries have been seeking ceasefire, but USA, UK, they are not in favor of ceasefire. They are in favor of humanitarian pauses only. This is second part of the same article, right? Then we have a question on this. It says, consider the following statements regarding United Nations Security Council. They have given two statements. One of the statements says it has 15 members. Each member has one vote. This is right. Second, the Security Council can resort to imposing sanctions or even authorize the use of force to maintain or restore international peace and security. This is also right. So both these statements are right. Correct answer would be option C. Very simple question, right? After understanding this, it's very simple question. So option C is the right answer. You can go through the explanation. Now we have another topic. This topic says challenging electoral bonds scheme. This topic is important. This topic we are going to discuss in detail. So to understand this, we need to understand what do we mean by electoral bonds scheme, right? So we will understand about the concept of electoral bond scheme. We are going to understand what are the challenges that are associated with the electoral bonds scheme, and we are going to discuss what this author wants to say, right, related to this topic. So let us quickly understand about electoral bonds scheme. So now we are discussing the topic number 2, and name of the topic is challenging the electoral bond scheme, right? Is challenging the electoral bond scheme. So what do we mean by electoral bond scheme? What is electoral bond? This is an important thing, okay? So we are going to discuss about this particular scheme. This scheme has been announced by the government in 2018, right? This scheme has been announced by the central government in 2018. So when we discuss about electoral bonds, right? When we discuss about electoral bonds, this is a very important, let's say, like, concept. We need to understand about what do we mean by electoral bonds. So what is the purpose of electoral bonds, right? What is the purpose? What is the purpose of electoral bonds? The purpose of electoral bonds is what? Funding of political parties, right? Its purpose is funding of political parties. Means who funds these political parties? Means like who are donors? Who are donors? Donors can be anyone. It can be, let's say, a citizen of India. It can be an institution. It can be a corporate. So anyone who can have a designated bank account can be a donor to this political parties. Apart from this, let's say, what are the denominations of these, let's say, like, electoral bonds? What are denominations? If we talk about denominations, it can be 1,000 initially. It can be 10,000, 1,000, 10,000, 1 lakh, 10 lakh, or 1 crore, up to 1 crore. Means you can go to a State Bank of India branch, you can go to a SBI branch, designated SBI branch, and if you want to make a donation to any political party, you can ask that I want to purchase an electoral bond. You need to give money to them, the bank branch, and they are going to give you this particular thing, and then you can donate it to the respective political parties. Okay, so that's how the donation happens. But what are the contentions associated with this electoral bonds? There are many things that are part of this, right? What are the contentions? So when we talk about contentions, right, what are the contentions? What are the issues with this? One of the issue that is there is, if you are a donor, right, so these bonds maintain donor anonymity. Donor anonymity means if you are donating to any political party, your name, your phone number, your bank account detail, your personal detail will not be made public. So you can just purchase an electoral bond and you can make donation to a political party directly using these bonds. Second, because of donor anonymity, now the issue is there are many people who have filed cases in a court of law, right? Supreme Court of India has recently heard and it has reserved its verdict. Means like it is, let's say, it may be writing the verdict and maybe at a later date it may announce its verdict. Okay, so they have heard both the parties. Why people are saying? People are saying this because of donor anonymity, many issues are associated with this, right? Because of this particular thing, people are saying various issues are connected with this. What are those issues? We are going to discuss about these issues. Number one, right?
Yes.
Number one, people say that this may be associated with something which is known as quid pro quo. What? One thing is quid pro quo. It means if there is a political party which came into power, this political party may make laws that may benefit some corporates, and these corporates in return will benefit the political party by making donation through this thing. Okay, so they can make donation to the political parties. So it is like political parties are benefiting the corporates and corporates are benefiting the political parties. So it's like quid pro quo situation, give and take situation. Quid pro quo means give and take relationship, give and take relationship between corporates and political parties. So this is a kind of issue that is associated with it. So people are saying that because of this particular issue, the electoral funding that is happening through electoral bonds scheme, this is actually eroding the trust of the citizens from the electoral system in India. This is one issue. Apart from this particular issue, second issue is that since donor anonymity is associated, so people are saying that those people who are donating to political parties, right, their information is not available. So the thing is, the right to know, which is a democratic right of the citizens, is being curtailed. Okay, means here people are saying that right to know, or if we say right to information, RTI, is, let's say, denied. It is denied to electorates. It is denied to electorates. Electorates means those people who vote, right? This is another major issue which is associated. Quid pro quo and this particular thing. Apart from this, people have filed RTI cases to, like, to know what was the total amount that was received by different political parties. So it has been alleged that only the BJP, Bharatiya Janata Party, they have got more than 74% of the total donation, right? And if we talk about Congress, they were the second largest recipient. They have received about 11% of total donation, and then many other state parties have received. So the thing is, the donation that these parties are receiving are, let's say, skewed also. And apart from this, let's say, like, more than 13,000 crore, right? More than 13,000 crore, like, donation has come to political parties through this particular way only. So that's why people have filed cases in the court, and the Supreme Court of India has heard both the issues. So here in this article, the author is saying challenging the electoral bond scheme. So let us discuss about what is the electoral bond scheme. We have discussed about what are electoral bonds. So electoral bond scheme is a scheme that was brought by the BJP government when it came into power. It came into power in 2014, but in 2018 it has come up with the electoral bonds scheme. But before coming to electoral bonds scheme, they have, let's say, like, amended some portion of the Finance Act. Through Finance Act, they have amended various things. They have amended even this Foreign Contribution Regulation Act, right? Foreign Contribution Regulation Act of 2010. This talks about that foreign contributions can be received by some institutions in India. But for receiving these foreign, contributions, there will be a ministry, which is Ministry of Home Affairs. Ministry of Home Affairs does have, let's say, like, manages this particular thing. I mean, like, so it maintains some rules that, like, according to this, if donation is coming beyond a certain limit, so the thing is, it has to go through the scrutiny of Ministry of Home Affairs. And there is an automatic route also, means like directly people can receive it, but it should be below a certain level. And those organizations, those institutions that are receiving this particular thing, they need to file their financial, right? They need to file their financial data or disclose their financial data, let's say, from time to time with the Ministry of Home Affairs. That's the thing. And this electoral bonds scheme is not the first idea. Before this, the Congress government came with a scheme which is similar to this, but, like, they have not passed it. In this article, they have said it was Electoral Trust Scheme 2013. Okay, it was Electoral Trust Scheme 2013. Okay, that the Congress government came in with this. But BJP government went little ahead. They have, let's say, codified everything. They have made changes in other laws through a finance act, right? So finance act, what is the finance act? Basically every year the government of India, if they want to make any changes into the existing provisions of the financial laws that are there, right? So they can just amend all of it, means like using just one notification, and that is known as finance act of that particular year. So finance act is not a different act in itself, but it is an act that amends or modifies the existing laws that have to deal with the financial matters, that deals with various taxation related regimes also. Okay, so this is the thing. So in this article the author finally says that with the constitutionality of electoral bonds being contested more strongly, the citizens must push for a more level playing field in the next round of elections. Okay, author has mentioned many points over here. Author has talked about that which fundamental rights are being curtailed by denying the electorates the right to know or right to information, right, of the donor.
Yes, sir.
Because the thing is like, if we go into detail, so this quid pro quo relationship will come, it will surface, right? So this is the thing. So this was the major thing that was discussed in this article. With this, like, we will quickly move to another article also. It says branded, generic and missing ingredients of quality. This is a short topic. I'll be quick also over here, right? We'll discuss about this topic. This is topic number 3. It says branded. I'm just coming in a minute, huh? So this article is about branded and generic medicines, right? So we are going to discuss about it. It says branded, generic and missing ingredients, right? It says, yes, branded, generic and missing ingredients of quality. So let's understand what do we mean by branded medicine, what do we mean by generic medicine, right? So this is an important let's say like information that we need to understand. On one side we have branded medicine, and on the other side we have generic medicine. We have generic medicine. When we talk about branded medicine, what are these? Branded medicines are those medicines that are manufactured by some private organizations, private companies, and to manufacture these branded medicines they have done research and development into it. So they are relatively new, and these companies have received patents as well, right? So they are under patent period, and since they are under patent period and since these private organizations have invested a huge amount of money, so the branded medicines are those medicines that come in the name of the brand or name of the company. For example, there is a company, let's say like Johnson and Johnson maybe. So they might have, let's say like done R&D, and after doing R&D they have come up with a medicine. They have named medicine in a certain way. Let's say like this is the medicine, but the cost of the branded medicine is high. Okay, so its cost is high. Okay, so this cost of branded medicine is, let's say, cost is high. This is one thing. In case of generic medicine, what happens? Generic medicines are those medicines that were earlier branded medicines, but the thing is their patent has expired. After their patent has expired, now it is open for any other company or by the government, right, or PSU to manufacture that drug, and they don't have to pay patent or licensing fee to the company. So they are able to use the same ingredient, they are able to use the same formula to manufacture a medicine which has the same therapeutic effect as the branded medicine. But the thing is, like, since royalty is not being given to the company, so its cost is very low. So over here its cost is very low, right? Cost is very low. Over here this is under patent period, okay? It is, let's say, like under patent period, and over here patent has generally expired, right? Patent has generally expired. Patent expired, but the thing is the therapeutic effect of the medicine has not gone down, it is the same, okay? So it has same therapeutic effect, right? It has same therapeutic effect as that of branded medicine, okay? So they are, like, they are effective, I would say they are effective against the disease. This is the thing, okay? So having understood the difference between branded and generic medicine, the thing is both the medicines are good, both the medicines are beneficial for the patients for a particular disease. Let's consider there is a patient, right? There is a patient, this is the patient, and this particular patient reaches a doctor, right? He reaches a doctor, and what this doctor does, he diagnoses this patient. After diagnosing, right, so first step is he diagnoses this particular patient. After diagnosing, what the doctor does, doctor prescribes some medicine to this particular person. Means, like, after diagnosis they do some kind of test, they prescribe medicine, okay? It prescribes medicine to, doctor prescribes medicine to the patient, and this prescription, the doctor, now this particular doctor has, what we say, the choice whether they want to prescribe a branded medicine or he wants to prescribe a generic medicine. Now what is the difference between it? If the doctor prescribes a branded medicine, so in that case the branded medicine will be costly for the patient. If he prescribes a generic medicine, so this will be cost effective, it will be cost effective. But the thing is, the Indian Medical Council, there is a, let's say, like, Medical Council of India, over here they have mentioned in this article that, or National Medical Commission, Indian Medical Association, okay? So they have mentioned about IMA. So Indian Medical Association has earlier come up with a notification, and in that notification they have said that all the doctors in India should prescribe only generic medicine. You're understanding? They come up with this thing that doctors must prescribe only generic medicine. But the thing is, question is, there are two problems associated with it. What are those two problems? One of the problem is, let's consider there is a patient, and that patient is, let's say, like, has some diseases for which, let's say, generic medicine is not available. New research has come up, only branded medicine will be available. So in that case, should the doctor not prescribe the medicine to the patient? This is one of the problem. Second problem is, like, doctor best knows that, like, in this particular case for this patient, which medicine is going to be more effective. Means, like, between branded and generic medicine also there can be various variants, right? And so doctors are best to prescribe what is branded, or like whether to prescribe a branded medicine or to prescribe a generic medicine. So this issue has been there for a long period of time, and the thing is, like, there are many doctors in the country who have protested against it, and the Indian Medical Association has taken back this particular notification. So over here in this article, the author is saying that we should not focus only the debate between branded and generic medicine. We should give most importance to the quality of the medicine, to the ingredients that are there in the medicine, right? So we should give importance to the API, means we should give importance to the ingredients of the medicine. So the quality of care, what? Quality of care is not compromised, right? Quality of care is upheld or is not compromised. At the same time, author is also of the view that we should make the medicine available, right, to the consumers. And for that, author has talked about that government of India can think of replicating one of the model, and this model has been, let's say, adopted by the Tamil Nadu government, which is Tamil Nadu Medical Services Corporation's limited practice, right, where all supplied medicine are kept under quarantine, stocked till double blinded samples are cleared in quality test by government and private sector laboratories. Means so what the Tamil Nadu government has done, in Tamil Nadu, let's say there are medicines that come, they keep the medicine in quarantine, they keep the medicine with them, and after medicine is received, they conduct tests. Tests are conducted by the government authorities, they are conducted by private organizations, laboratories. This is known as blind, blinded sample. Okay, double blinded sample test. So basically they check the effectiveness of the medicine before they release it to the hospitals so that it can be given to the patients. So tests are done over here. So author is saying that this test must be adopted by the government so that generic medicines may be made available. Author is saying we should not compromise with the quality, but we should also take this initiative to make the medicines affordable for the masses, because many a times people are not able to afford medicines. Okay, this is the thing. So this article is good, right? You can go through it in your free time. Then we have another topic. This topic is again important, really important. It says, should elections be state funded? Okay, so in this article we are going to discuss about the issue of funding of elections, whether it should be done by the private organ, by the political parties, or it should be state funded. Okay, should elections be state funded? Should elections be state funded? Now let us understand about this particular case. So when we talk about elections, here we are talking about the elections to two things. One is we are talking about Lok Sabha elections, other we are talking about state legislative assembly elections. Presently what is happening, the fundings that happen in these cases, right, the fundings that happen in these cases, fundings means the political parties. So these fundings are, let's say, election expenditure is borne by the political parties, right, in India, and they are borne by the candidates. They are borne by the candidates. So when political parties are themselves funding for the elections, and the funding are in thousands of crore rupees, so the thing is they have to get this money from somewhere. So that's why arises the issue of quid pro quo between let's say political parties, right, quid pro quo between political parties and corporations. Okay, so there is an issue of quid pro quo. Quid pro quo means give and take relationship, right? Give and take relationship means the corporates fund the political parties come into power, and they help the corporates, right, in in their own agenda. Means they may pass some act which benefits the corporates. Means these are the ways. So this is the issue which is there with elections in India. So that's why people are saying that should these should these fundings, right, or expenditures that happen, should it happen from the state exchequer? Means like, should the government pay for it? So in this article, two authors have been interviewed by The Hindu. One of the person is Jagdeep Chokar. So he is the trustee of the Association for Democratic Reforms, ADR. And ADR is the organization that have filed cases related to electoral bonds, right? Means along with ADR, there are many other parties also. So the thing is, author is saying that we should not consider it to be state funding. We should consider it to be public funding. Because public funding is, let's say, giving a more sense, because state funding means like it showcases that the government is funding, but where the money is coming, it is coming from the public. So we should name it as public funding, so that public knows that, like, our money is being spent by the political parties so that they can come to power, and the public at large will hold the political parties accountable at a later point. This is the thing. So in this article, they have discussed about few committees, those committees that have recommended, right, that there should be public funding or state funding of elections. So what are those committees? One of the committee is, so I'm going to discuss about, I'm going to write the names of these committees one by one, right? This is an important part. At least like you should be remembering the name of these committees, right, after this discussion, that has supported the idea of what? State funding of elections or public funding of elections. One of the committee is known as Indrajit Gupta Committee Report, right? It is Indrajit Gupta Committee Report. So Government of India has created a Indrajit Gupta Committee, and they have given a report, and in this report the Indrajit Gupta Committee has suggested that, like, we can go for electoral funding. Means like, we can go for state funding of elections. We are going to discuss about details also at a later point, but now we need to write down the name of these committees. Second committee is known as Law Commission of India Report 1999. Okay, Law Commission of India Report, right? Law Commission of India Report of 1999. They have also supported the idea of state funding of election. Then we have Second Administrative Reforms Commission of 2008, right? So I'm going to write this. Second ARC of 2008. It has also supported the idea of state funding of elections. Then we have National Commission to the Review of Working of the Constitution, right? This is National Commission. National Commission, I'm going to write completely. National Commission to review the working of the Constitution report of 2001. So these are some of the committees or commissions and their reports that have supported the idea of state funding of election. And in this article itself, they have discussed about this Indrajit Committee report. So Indrajit Committee report has said that, like, we are going to discuss about this committee only in detail, because like they have talked about this. This is Indrajit Committee report. This Indrajit Committee report has said some important parts. One of the thing is state funding of election should be allowed only when there is internal democracy in the party. So they said, like, state funding can be allowed. State funding can be allowed if there is internal democracy within political parties. What do we mean by this? Question is, in India, the political parties that are there, they are ideology driven. Some parties are left wing, some parties are right wing. Right wing in the sense like, they have religious connotation as well. I mean, like, they are based on certain these things. Like, there are state parties, there are, let's say, national parties. So the thing is, there is no internal democracy within the parties. For example, there, if you talk about Bharatiya Janata Party, so in their party, most of the people are from upper caste Hindus. Means lower caste Hindus are very less in number. Even if a person is present, it will be very minute. And people from other religion are not, means like very, what we say, less likely. Wherever, means like, out of maybe 400 people, 1 or 2 can be there. So do we see internal democracy over there? No. So that's the thing. So this Inderjit committee report has said that state funding of election can be allowed whenever there is internal democracy within the political parties. And also it has suggested many other aspects also. It has suggested that if state funding is allowed, then the criminal issue or let's say whether a politician is criminal or not, it should be thoroughly checked, right? So the thing is, whenever state funding is allowed, so it is going to institutionalize it in a manner that, like, it will be under high control. It should be transparent, right? It should be highly transparent. It said that the political parties should be highly transparent in their financial matters. What? In their financial matters. That's the thing. Criminal checks should be done. And also this committee has said many other reforms also. Means like, if these conditions are met, then political funding can be done.
So you also mentioned that state funding should be done only in kind, not in cash.
Yes. This is like, this committee said that state funding should be done only in kind, not in cash, right? Not in cash. What do we mean by this? Means like they should not be given cash money that you go and spend for your election. Instead of it, the politicians can be given bus free ride. They can be, means like, they can be helped with things that are needed. Pamphlet and lot of things, right? So, but the thing is like, it does have issues. So that's why many political parties, although thought they supported that, state funding will be important, but they did not go further ahead with this idea, because like they will come under huge scrutiny. The thing is like, if we allow state funding along with that, along with this particular idea that political parties can get the funding from other sources also, so it is going to derail this particular thing.
So one thing, so like who will supervise the funding process in this case? Election Commission of India or some other body?
Election Commission of India will be there, Comptroller and Auditor General of India will be there. Many other machineries will be created. As of now, it is unclear. Means this has not been implemented. Only committees have given their report that we can go for it. But if they think of going with it, there can be many procedures for it. Like how the political parties have to, let's say, like, share their balance sheet related information. So it will be, let's say, regulated in a manner how the corporates are being regulated. And means like it will be more regulated because there will be more requirement of transparency. So this is the thing. So this article is good. You can go through it in your free time. Then this is another article. It says, how was the first vaccine for chikungunya approved? So recently, United States Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has approved the first vaccine for chikungunya to be used in adults who are above the age of 18 years. And this vaccine is known as, right? So over here in this article, they have named the, they have mentioned the name of this vaccine also. Okay, just a minute. Ixchiq, I think, like, I have written also. It is Ixchiq. Name of the vaccine is known as IXCHIQ. This is the vaccine, right? For chikungunya. And chikungunya is caused by two varieties of mosquitoes. One of the mosquito is known as Aedes aegypti, other is known as Aedes Ablopictus. Okay, these are the two mosquitoes, Aedes aegypti and Aedes ablopictus. Okay, you can download this PDF and you can go through it.
Sir, one thing. Sir, this Aedes aegyptis, right? Aegypti.
Aegypti.
So is it a female mosquito?
No, it is a variety of mosquito.
Sir, because in case of dengue.
Dengue, right? The same mosquito is there.
Okay.
It causes chikungunya also, it causes this particular thing. So far related to chikungunya, no cure was available. Only symptoms were treated. For example, if a person gets fever, so fever related tablets will be given. If that person gets body pain, so body pain related things will be given. And with this chikungunya, what happens if you have chikungunya, your, what we say, joints will start paining. Joints pain so much that you are unable to walk also. So it is a viral infection. So far, no vaccine or cure was available. It is for the first time that US has approved it, and this vaccine is made by a company, European Union based company, and its name is Valneva. Okay, Valneva. Valneva is the name of the company, and this Ixchiq is the name of the vaccine that is developed by this particular company. So this vaccine will be administered through injection. Means like, it will be injected in the muscle like that, right? So it is like it will be injected. This is the thing. So now they have mentioned about this, and they have, let's say, approved this particular vaccine through an emergency route. Like they have an emergency route approval, and they have approved this particular thing. So this is what is mentioned. Few days back there was a short article on this topic in Hindu itself. I have taken that discussion. Now we have a question quickly. Consider the following questions about chikungunya virus. It is transmitted by the bite of Aedes aegypti mosquito. This is right. Not only this mosquito, there is another variety of mosquito. Both of them can cause. No specific antiviral treatment is available for chikungunya. So far it was not available, but now it is available, right? Dengue and chikungunya are caused by the same viruses, right? So viruses are different, right? But the thing is, Aedes aegypti can carry this particular thing, okay? So we need to see how many of these statements are right, okay? First is incorrect, second is correct only, okay? Means like only second statement is correct. What? No. First is correct, second is incorrect, third is also incorrect, okay? This is the thing, only one. Maybe like, they have made by the content team, they might have made some mistakes over here, right? It was previously the case. Like we just studied in the article that now this vaccine Ixchiq, its name is IXCHIQ. This vaccine is made. So that's why this is incorrect. First one is correct. So this is caused by this mosquito also and this mosquito as well. They can individually cause it. It's not the case. Both the mosquitoes are needed, right? And third is incorrect, okay? So A is right, only one of the statement is right, only one. But the first is right, not other two, okay? So I'll get it rectified in the PPT. Then this is another topic. It says unimpeded freedom of navigation vital. So Mr. Rajnath Singh has recently, let's say, attended Asian Plus, okay? There is an organization which is known as Asian Defense Ministers Meeting Plus, and it's a platform where ASEAN, right? ASEAN means it has 10 member countries, and this ASEAN Defense Ministers Plus, right? This plus grouping has 8 additional members. So there are total 18 members as part of this, and Defense Minister of India has attended over here. And what are the 8 members? They are known as dialogue partners. These 8 members are known as what? Dialogue partners. So these dialogue partners' names are also mentioned. They are India, Australia, China, Japan, New Zealand, Republic of Korea, Russia, and the United States. They are dialogue partners to ASEAN. ASEAN stands for Association for Southeast Asian Nations. It has 10 member countries in all, right? So earlier also we have discussed. So Rajnath Singh said that we uphold the international principles related to freedom of navigation, right, on high seas. And these international principles are part of the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. In short, it is known as UNCLOS. This particular thing came in 1982. So UNCLOS is the law which is broadly applicable to the sea areas, to the maritime regions. And here we also uphold the, let's say, principles of freedom of navigation, right? Freedom of, let's say, trade through the sea routes and all. So this is what he has talked about there. He has, let's say, asserted that we should together, let's say, think of bringing transparency, bringing, let's say, like, safety to the maritime regions. Okay, this is the thing. So this article, they have not mentioned much, but like you need to understand about ASEAN Defense Ministers Plus, right? ASEAN is there. So they have 10 members, and plus this particular thing has 8 dialogue partners. India is one of the dialogue partners, so that's why India participated.
So dialogue partners do not have the right to vote.
They do have right to vote, but in this particular defense minister conclave, not in ASEAN grouping, affairs of the ASEAN, like that. So now we have another topic. It says anti-piracy patrol in Gulf of Guinea over. So recently India has participated in anti-piracy patrol, right? Means like a kind of exercise where piracy related thing, I mean, like, so people have been trained how you can go for anti-piracy. So this has been conducted in Gulf of Guinea, the place that we have discussed in the beginning of the discussion. So if we talk about, this is Africa, right? This is part of Africa, the western portion of Africa. This was equator 0 degree, and this is where Gulf of Guinea was located, right? Gulf of Guinea was located. We have seen its mapping earlier also today. So which ship participated here? It is INS Sumedha. Okay, INS Sumedha has participated in Gulf of Guinea, and this was a part of mission-based deployment. And India has participated over here. We have deployed our Indian naval ship. INS means Indian naval ship, and it has participated, and the second phase of it is over now. So that has been said by the Indian Navy. That's all, right? So not much is given in this article. Very short article. We just need to know the important part. Then now we have a topic from economy. It says food prices pose risk to aligning inflation to 4% target. Okay, food prices pose risk to aligning inflation to 4% target, RBI officials. So when we talk about inflation in India, right? When we talk about inflation in India, right? So inflation can be of different types, right? So one type of inflation is known as, let's say, cost push inflation. Then we have demand pull inflation. Demand pull inflation. Then there is, let's say, like, headline inflation. Then there can be core inflation. So inflation can be of different types. It depends, like, what is the cause of that inflation and what is the effect of that inflation. So over here, related to inflation, the Reserve Bank of India has a mandate of keeping the inflation under certain bracket. Not only Reserve Bank of India, even the government of India has some target, and they have a target of keeping the inflation at 4 plus minus 2%. What do we mean by this? 4 plus minus 2%. It means the inflation, the maximum value of inflation should be 6%, and the minimum value of inflation should be 2%. So the thing is, they want to maintain it at 4%. But recently the Reserve Bank of India has said, right, RBI has said that food inflation, what? inflation, right, maybe may cause risk of keeping it at 4%. So food is, let's say, its price sometimes becomes very volatile. It may go skyrocketed, means like, the recently we have seen tomato 160 rupees kg, right? Onions, tomato. So that's the thing. So the Reserve Bank of India does have various tools to control inflation, and some of the tools are known as quantitative tools. Other are known as qualitative tools. What? Qualitative tools. What do we mean by quantitative tools? For example, repo rate, reverse repo rate, bank rate, statutory liquidity rate, right, open market operations. Then they have, let's say, cash reserve ratio. So these are quantitative tools that the Reserve Bank of India can use to control the inflation, right? So when this inflation is high, it is going to increase the rate, let's say repo rate, the rate at which the Reserve Bank of India lends money to the banks, right? So that's the thing. And qualitative means, like, it generally what does, it asks the banks to adopt certain kind of policy measures so that inflation in the market can be controlled. So in this article, although let's say like they have just talked about various figures and all, and since we have little less time, we will not go into much detail in this article. So in your free time, you can read about this topic. You will understand what do we mean by this inflation and all. Then we have another topic. This is going to be the last topic for the day. RBI raises risk weight on consumer credit exposure of banks, NBFC, to 125%. So RBI is the regulator of the banks. The Reserve Bank of India, it is the regulator of banks in India. It regulates the scheduled commercial banks. It regulates the non-banking financial companies, and generally it calls non-banking financial companies as regulated entities. Some NBFCs are regulated by RBI directly, some are not. It depends on which type of business that NBFC is involved in. So those entities that are regulated by RBI, they are known as regulated entities. So it says RBI raises risk weights on consumer credit exposure of banks, NBFCs, to 125%. It means RBI has now thought of regulating more, putting more pressure on regulation for non-banking financial companies. And recently, RBI has stopped Bajaj Finance Limited from sanctioning and disbursing loans under two lending products. One is e-commerce, other is Insta EMI cards, by flagging that they pose high risks because they are unsecured loans. These are, let's say, like these are unsecured loans. So that's why so RBI has increased their risk profile, and it has stopped this particular thing for this Bajaj Finance. So in this article, they have discussed about that how NBFCs are regulated, why the RBI has increased the risk profile of the unsecured loans and all. This is the thing. Secured loans are those loans for which collateral is taken, for which let's say, like, non-movable assets are created. For example, if you purchase a house, if you take a loan, that is housing loan, it is considered to be a secured loan, because like you are not going to go away with the house. If in case you default, they are going to what? Auction your house. They are going to take possession of your house. This is the thing. So that's all from my side for the day. Thank you so much everyone for attending today's session. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.